When the postgraduate entrance examination results came out, I ranked first and Traitor ranked second. I thought we could embark on the future together. But he asked me to give up pursuing a postgraduate degree. Even if a woman studies so much, in the end, she'll just have children and become a mother. Won't she? Phoenix, isn't it better for you to be with me and struggle 20 years less? He locked me in a hotel room, causing me to miss the interview. Until the final list was announced. The first and second places were startlingly Traitor and his first love. On the day he let me out, he looked at me with disdain. You're someone who can't even get into graduate school. You don't deserve to be with me. My father tried to seek justice for me, but he was outmaneuvered by Traitor. And my father died tragically in Prez, and due to a sudden heart attack. I had a miscarriage in the hospital and unexpectedly died from excessive blood loss. When I opened my eyes again, I actually found myself half a month before the postgraduate entrance examination. Phoenix, let's play 2 more rounds. Our group is counting on you to carry us to victory. In the internet CAF, a group of stylishly dressed wealthy second-generation teenagers surrounded me. The word victory on the computer screen was particularly offensive to the eye. I suddenly realized that I had been reborn. I'm not playing anymore. The dormitory closes at 10 o'clock, and I need to go back. I suppressed the trembling of my hands and started packing my things. This December was exceptionally cold. The snow outside formed a sharp contrast with the warmth inside the internet CIF. At this moment, however, as I touched my beating heart, my hands, which had been cold due to the excitement of playing games, began to warm up a bit. Phoenix, it's so cold outside. Let's just stay up all night. Anyway, heading for so wide session. You don't have anything to do tomorrow since it's Saturday. The young man who held me back, accomplice, was handsome and was Traitor's best friend. In my previous life, I treated him like a younger brother. But he guarded the door of the hotel room for Traitor, listening in fearfully as I cried out for help from inside the room. It wasn't until that hooligan had finished everything in the room that he opened the door and coldly handed me a contraceptive pill, telling me that if I called the police, the power of their families would make my death even more miserable. Thinking of this, accomplice's handsome and innocent face became disgusting to me. I looked at him coldly. But there's the CET6 exam tomorrow afternoon. Accomplice was startled by my cold tone. He touched my forehead with his hand and asked, "You're not having a fever either. What's wrong with you, Phoenix? It's not my fault that Traitor isn't here. Besides, didn't you already pass the CET6 a long time ago? What's the point of going to retake the exam just to improve your score? After you marry Traitor in the future, what do you need the CET6 score for? His father can arrange a good position for you." Accomplice smiled ambiguously. But my expression became even colder. In my previous life, being inexperienced in the world, I was really brainwashed by them and thought that there was no need to retake the CET6 to improve my score after passing it. But when it came to finding a job, small companies didn't dare to hire me under the pressure from their families' companies. Top companies were willing to give me a chance. But in the end, they still looked at my academic performance. Before I could agree, accomplice snatched my clothes and threw them on the back of the chair, and then called everyone to start a new game. "Come on, Phoenix. Sit down and keep carrying us to victory." I pondered for a moment, then sat down and opened the battle mode. I said to accomplice, "We'll play it differently today." There were still half an hour until 10 o'clock, and I ended the battle in 10 minutes. The wealthy second-generation teenagers let out a howl. "Phoenix, we know you're skilled, but you don't have to crush us like this. Do you?" Accomplice threw the mouse with a look of dissatisfaction. "Phoenix, if you don't want to carry us, you don't have to treat us like this. You've completely crushed our confidence. Here's the deal. You carry us to gain points all night long, and then we'll forgive you." I smiled and rotated my slightly sore wrist, then stood up, picked up my down jacket, and put it on. Instead of relying on others to carry you every day, it's better to practice your own skills. From today on, I won't carry losers. I turned around and left gracefully, leaving behind a group of confused wealthy second-generation teenagers who roared behind me, "Who are you calling a loser? Woman, wafa finidad olal sai. Traitor will definitely teach you a lesson. I ignored them and rushed back to the dormitory in the snowstorm. The heavens have been kind to me, allowing me to be reborn half a month before the postgraduate entrance examination. This time, I won't let Traitor ruin me again. The snow had already covered my ankles. Although the internet CAF wasn't far from the dormitory, it still took me a full quarter of an hour to get there. Finally, heading so riad sai. When I saw the dormitory, I saw from a distance that Traitor was giving a cup of milk tea to a petite girl. It was the school belle. Viper, my roommate and the first love in Traitor's heart. In the past, Traitor always used me as an excuse, saying that he was looking for Viper just to inquire about my news. Viper, don't worry. With your grades, it's not a problem for you to get into the postgraduate program of our school. But Phoenix is also going to take the exam. You know her grades have always been better than mine. There are only 2 spots. And I want to pursue a postgraduate degree with you. Viper looked at Traitor with teary eyes, making him want to hug her. But she dodged. So, didn't I start pursuing her for you? She plays games every day now. So she definitely won't get good grades. Viper's voice was tinged with sobs. No. She's memorizing the postgraduate entrance examination English vocabulary while playing games in the dormitory. I really want to pursue a postgraduate degree with you. It's not that I'm not working hard enough. But Phoenix is deliberately trying to stop me. Traitor. You'll help me, right? Traitor slapped his chest and promised that it would definitely be okay. Viper still seemed worried. She took Traitor's hand and earnestly reminded him. When she left, she asked meaningfully, Traitor, you won't really fall in love with her because of this, will you? Traitor affectionately tapped the tip of her nose. You know how dominant she is. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't pursue such a woman. The cold wind stung my face. But my heart ached even more. In my previous life, I was so stupid that I ended up losing my family and my life because of such people. He doesn't like me. Does he? I patted the snow off my body and quickly walked back to the dormitory. That's fine. I don't like him anymore either. Just in time before the dormitory door closed, I returned to the dormitory. Viper was obviously surprised by my appearance. Weren't you playing games? Why? I knocked on the desks of my roommates who were still watching dramas and asked, there's the CET6 exam tomorrow. My roommates quickly put away their iPads and opened the composition examples I had given them before and started memorizing. You won't even use English when you enter society in the future. Look at me. I'm not even reviewing either. Viper proudly played with her manicure. We're already in university. And you're still studying hard and striving for progress every day. Have you been so oppressed by Phoenix that there's something wrong with your minds? In the past, when she said this, I would avoid the topic because of Traitor's instructions and privately persuade my roommates not to listen to her. But now, why should I let her have her way? Then why were you secretly looking at my summaries? Your WeChat background changes every day, and they're all postgraduate entrance examination vocabulary words. You don't need to review for the CET6. But you're quite enthusiastic about memorizing postgraduate entrance examination English. Hearing my words, the expressions of my roommates became unnatural. In the past, they thought that Viper didn't study either and that she won the scholarship every time just because she was naturally smart. It turned out that she had been studying secretly. What are you talking nonsense about? I'm different from them. I'm going to take the postgraduate entrance examination. Viper blushed. Her voice was tinged with sobs. As if she had suffered a great grievance. I'm doing this for everyone's good. Why do you misunderstand me like this? Aren't we the best of friends? When my roommates saw her like this, they quickly comforted her and advised me to let it go and not be too aggressive. Yes, the best of friends. Let's meet in the postgraduate entrance examination room. I smiled, opened the English vocabulary book, and started memorizing again. In my previous life, I stayed up all night playing games and didn't take the CET6 exam. This time, I don't want to leave any regrets. After coming out of the CET6 examination room, I went directly to the postgraduate entrance examination study room. I had already blocked Traitor's WeChat and contact information. After being reborn, I don't want to waste my time on bad people and bad things. Although I remember the questions from the postgraduate entrance examination. Since the rebirth happened, the exam questions might also change. I can't take it lightly. I want to get a score that will leave them all far behind. But even though I didn't look for trouble, Traitor couldn't sit still. I guess Viper went to cry to him again about what happened yesterday. Just as I opened the mock exam paper for mathematics I and had just finished one question. A large bouquet of roses appeared in front of me. Phoenix. Why did you block me? Are you angry because I didn't accompany you last night? You had the CET6 exam today. I didn't want to disturb you, so I didn't come to see you. Now that the exam is over, can you forgive me? Traitor knelt down on one knee, his expression very sincere. The stuffy postgraduate entrance examination study room was now filled with a commotion of cheering. I looked back and saw it was his friends. Many students who were studying frowned, obviously a bit dissatisfied. I pointed at the student who was filming a video and asked, "Won't Viper be jealous of your bold act of showing love?" Traitor's hand that was holding the roses froze. And he forced a smile. "She's your roommate. I met her to please you. You're not jealous of Viper, are you? That's good." I didn't respond to his words and accepted the roses. "I'll take the flowers. Now I want to focus on my studies. Come to me again after the postgraduate entrance examination results come out. You have such good grades. Why are you working so hard?" Traitor took away the scratch paper in front of me with dissatisfaction. "You once said that even if you don't study, you can still outperform those idiots who study hard for a whole year. Being with me is about enjoying your youth." As soon as he said this, the postgraduate entrance examination study room, which had been quiet with only one person speaking, started to buzz with whispers. "Who is this person? He's so arrogant. Yeah. How shameless. We all got into H university based on our strength. Who should look down on him?" The voices of dissatisfaction grew louder, and some people even dug up my name and major. Seeing that his goal had been achieved, Traitor took my hand and said, "Phoenix. I didn't mean it. I just said that because I like you so much. You're always studying and don't have time to be in a relationship with me." I looked at him in confusion. When were we ever in a relationship? You. Traitor's words trailed off. He had indeed never confessed his love to me. In the past, I thought that we were naturally together because of our deep affection. But he regarded it as my unrequited love. What did he say at that time? "You came to me on your own initiative. And I couldn't very well refuse." Now, how can an undergraduate be worthy of a postgraduate? I leaned closer to him and asked, "I'd give me a grand confession. Or I'll help you be with Viper." Traitor's eyes clearly showed shock. And his voice trembled a bit. "What are you talking about?" I took the scratch paper from his hand and continued to do the calculations. "Do you think that after 4 years at university, she still hasn't agreed to be with you? Will she agree now that you've been admitted to postgraduate school?" His expression froze. "What are you talking about? I like you." Traitor still stubbornly insisted. I looked back at his friends, who were still excited and obviously very satisfied with our whispered and ambiguous conversation. "Viper seems to mention accomplice the most in the dormitory. How does she and accomplice know each other?" Traitor's face darkened terribly at this moment. His mouth was tightly pursed, and he followed my gaze to look at his group of friends. "Take your flowers away. I'll unblock you. Send me a WeChat message when you've thought it through." I spent the time it took to do a math problem thinking about it. Even if I ignore them, they'll still come to me. So, it's better to spend some time and let them truly understand their own feelings for each other. The next day, 2 highly popular posts appeared on the school forum. One anonymous post, a certain top student arrogantly claimed that Hesh could get into graduate school without studying. One real name post, "Phoenix. Will you be my girlfriend?" Traitor. For a while, I became a prominent figure. The WeChat messages from those who came to inquire about the news even slowed down my speed of memorizing political knowledge. So I simply turned off my phone and let the post ferment for a while longer. "Phoenix. Why did you turn off your phone?" Viper stormed back into the dormitory. Her makeup smeared from crying, and the smudged lipstick blatantly indicated whom she had just gone to see. "Oh. My phone ran out of battery. I calmly turned it on. Among the more than 100 unread WeChat messages, Traitor's was particularly noticeable. She came to me. I kissed her for the first time. He was a complete newbie who had lost his intelligence and love. Why are you in such a hurry to find me? Haven't you seen the post on the school forum? It's going viral. You're actually still reading a book here. You got all the math questions right? How can you still focus on reading a book? Viper's anger reached its peak when she saw my corrected math test paper. Realizing that her tone was not nice, Viper took a deep breath and said gently, "I'm just worried about you. We're the best friends. And I don't want you to be sad because of these things. But there is still some good news. Right? Traitor confessed to you. He's the heartthrob of our department. You'll say yes to him. Right?" She looked happy, but she couldn't hide the jealousy and viciousness in her eyes. "I need to think about it. I'm not going to say yes to everyone who confesses to me." I put away my math book and opened my major textbook. "But you had a good relationship with Traitor before, didn't you? I thought you were already together." I chuckled. "Yeah. I promised him that I would consider it after the postgraduate entrance examination. I didn't expect him to be in such a hurry to post these things online. I'm also very troubled. I'll call him later and ask him to take down the post. Who can't act like a green tea, or be sarcastic? Everyone who can get admitted to H university has a good IQ." Viper held back her anger and took my major textbook and hid it behind her back. "Come on. It's great. This is what youth is all about. If you don't experience youth, you're wasting your teenage years. Aren't you going to regret it if you don't have such a passionate experience before graduating? Why are you still reviewing it this time? Have a passionate love affair and make your youth without regrets." I was speechless and tried to take the book from her hand. But she quickly hid it inside her coat. "I'm doing this for your own good. You can read books anytime. But if you miss the chance of falling in love, you'll lose the impulse. Go ahead." She looked envious but still wouldn't return the book to me. The wind and snow outside were extremely heavy. I really didn't want to go to the postgraduate entrance examination study room. So I had no choice but to pick up my phone and go out. That's right. Come on and enjoy your youth. Fortunately, hadn't fulfilled vows. I had saved all the study materials on my phone. I sent a WeChat message to Traitor and waited for him in the lobby on the first floor while memorizing political knowledge. Traitor came quickly and took out a cup of warm milk tea from his arms and handed it to me. I just bought it as a token of my gratitude. I happily took it and saw from the reflection of the mirror that Viper, who was hiding in the corridor, was stamping her feet. It was really strange. She clearly regarded Traitor as her own possession. Yet she let him use his charm to seduce me. "Did you bring the book?" Viper took mine. "We're applying for the same major. So let's exchange books." "Yeah. Now I have another reason to ask her out tomorrow. But, after I confessed like this, you really aren't moved at all? You weren't like this before." Traitor put down his school bag and sat beside me. Getting very close when he spoke. "You're also different from before." I looked at him amused. Lie. "We're all adults who are about to graduate and enter society. Not ignorant teenagers who are easily tempted by a little immediate benefit. We should consider the more distant future." Thinking of this, I couldn't help but pause. In my previous life, I seemed to be that fool. Fortunately, hadn't fulfilled my anxiety. God gave me another chance. I patted my chest in relief. Traitor, however, asked nervously, "What's wrong? Did Viper lose her temper with you? She's just a bit spoiled because of being doted on at home. I wonder if she'll be as sensible as you in the future. Actually, you're pretty nice too. Can we be good friends?" I stared at his cheeks, which were reddened by the cold wind, and took a sip of the still warm milk tea. People are so fickle. Once others stop paying attention to them, they rush to seek a sense of presence. Absolutely not. We're in a competitive relationship and can't be friends. You'd better focus on pursuing your first love. I pointed at the mirror. She seems to be jealous. Traitor followed my hand and looked at Viper in the mirror. His expression froze, and he rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Presumably, it was the first time he had seen such an expressive look on Viper's face. 6 that day, I took Traitor's major textbook back to the dormitory to review. Viper was so jealous that she snatched my book again. You didn't even agree to him. Why did you take his book? I pointed at the post I had just replied to and said. Who said I didn't agree to him? I said that I would agree to him when we both get admitted to graduate school. Just now. The school official account even forwarded the post and praised our way of motivating each other and striving for progress. The counselor said that when we both get admitted to graduate school, he will vigorously publicize our story and show a clear path for those students who only want to fall in love. Her face turned livid, and she gritted her teeth and said, with your excellent grades, you will definitely be admitted. I really envy you. Can you tutor me with my studies? I'm also going to take the postgraduate entrance examination. If I can't surpass you too, getting a better grade will at least allow me to transfer to a good major through adjustment. Huh? Since the love route didn't work, she's trying to use flattery? Sorry. I'm not available. I refused firmly. What kind of a saint am I? I don't even have enough time to review myself, let alone tutor her. But you can ask Traitor to tutor you. His grades are pretty good too. He's a male classmate. How can I keep asking him for help? Besides, we're roommates. Isn't it only right that we help each other with our studies? Is she trying to morally kidnap me again? I never knew before that every word Viper said had hidden meanings. But I promised Traitor that we would be together if we both get admitted to graduate school. If I don't work hard, I'll fall behind. You also want us to be together, right? When we pass the exam, I'll treat you to wedding candies. Viper's face turned pale and then red. I really wanted to record it and show it to Traitor for him to appreciate. I deliberately made her angry. After saying that, I put on my headphones and started reading. If it weren't for the fact that I really didn't have the conditions at home, I would have moved out long ago. After being provoked by me like this, Viper actually stopped her actions. After the post with the real name confession was forwarded by the official account, the popularity of it subsided. However, after a few days of fermentation, the anonymous post had become the most popular one at the moment. That day, I asked the classmate who took the video to delete it. But I didn't expect that there was still someone who hadn't followed my request. My information was easy to find. Combined with Traitor's high-profile love confession post, all my personal information was posted online. I originally didn't want to pay attention to it, but the counselor called me and told me that I had to take down the post. Otherwise it would directly affect my image in the eyes of the supervisor. Even if my score in the postgraduate entrance examination was high enough, he wouldn't accept me. It had such a great impact. This was the first time I gritted my teeth and thought deeply since I was reborn. Regarding the location of this video, I recalled the scene at that time. With such a distant shooting scene and this outrageous photography technique, it could only have been taken by one person. I found accomplice in the internet CIF, who hadn't returned all night. He was angrily throwing his phone and scolding his group of friends. Damn it. Can't you guys cooperate with me? I08. Is this a score that a human can get? Without Traitor and that woman, you can't even let me win one game? I'll find a professional team to carry me. It's just about the equipment. I don't believe that I can't even beat a woman. The moment he turned around and saw me, he shuddered, and then said to me in a nonchalant manner, Yo. Isn't this our Phoenix? Have you come to apologize to me? So this was his true face. I wonder what his wealthy businessman father would think if he saw his son like this. Accomplice. Take down the post online. I ignored him and got straight to the point. There were only 10 days left until the postgraduate entrance examination. If this matter hadn't reached the supervisor, I really didn't want to waste my precious time on him. Not bad. You actually know that I posted it. Here's what you can do. Kneel down and apologize to me. Then give me your game account. Promise not to take the postgraduate entrance examination, and I'll take down the post. Accomplice laughed triumphantly. I could understand the first two conditions. But what did my taking the postgraduate entrance examination have to do with him? He was only in his sophomore year. And since Traitor and I had already reached an agreement, he didn't have the idea of standing up for his friend either. I looked at him inquisitively, and a line that I had always ignored became clearer and clearer. Viper? I can't do any of the things you said. I looked at him calmly. But I'll give you one day. If you don't take down the post, I'll choose to call the police. Fabricating facts to slander others. If the circumstances are serious, shall be sentenced to fixed-term imprisonment of not more than 3 years. Criminal detention, public surveillance, or deprivation of political rights. I gave them a brief introduction to the relevant law by the way. Now the post has already caused a certain impact and attracted the attention of the school authorities. If you don't delete it and it causes an even greater and worse impact, you'll have to bear the consequences yourself. Accomplice, hadn't fulfilled what I'd say. You're already 20 years old and should be responsible for your actions. I thought I had made myself clear. But unexpectedly, Accomplice shrank his neck and sneered. Don't scare me. I'm so scared. The rich second-generation guys burst into laughter, as if they had heard something extremely ridiculous. Do you know who my father is? Do you think that your little matter can scare me? Phoenix. Let me tell you, I'm in a bad mood today. You have to crawl under my crotch. And then I'll forgive you. I stared at Accomplice in confusion. Was this guy crazy? Did he watch too many martial arts dramas or police and bandit movies when he was a child and get brainwashed? How could he say such an old-fashioned thing? Come to think of it, I remembered that the school had a few special admission quotas every year for some sports students and students with special talents. Accomplice wasn't admitted through normal means. It was his father's money that bought him the admission. I thought too much. You won't take down the post. And I have no choice but to call the police. There was another burst of laughter. They seemed to think that I was threatening them. In their smooth life paths, there was nothing that could threaten them. It wasn't until a group of policemen came in and took them away that they believed that I, a poor student, had really called the police. Dad. She's spitting blood and making false accusations. I didn't post those messages at all. The previously lawless accomplice actually cowered when he got to the police station. Despite being questioned repeatedly by the police, he still refused to admit that he was the one who posted the messages. Well, you bought the account, right? It's a pity that the IP address is from your building. You investigated me? Accomplice looked at me through gritted teeth. I looked at my watch. I had already been delayed for 2 hours. In this time, I could have finished a set of math test papers. No need to investigate. The school has already paid attention to this matter. Whom do you think runs the school forum? The school asked me to deal with this instead of approaching you directly. Don't you understand the meaning behind it? Accomplice. I'll say it again. You're not a child anymore. My tone was fierce. And he was obviously taken aback for a moment. And he replied in an even fiercer tone. Who do you think you are? Phoenix. Your father is just a laborer. Do you think you're worthy? Children from single-parent families are really ill-mannered. He spat on the ground and then looked outside the door with a wronged expression. Dad. Why are you so late? Your son is about to be bullied to death. As soon as Accomplice's father arrived, he bowed deeply to me and apologized. Phoenix. Don't worry. I'll make this brat remove the posts immediately. Thank you for the recording. And thank you for not letting a stain be left on his file. After saying that, he started to beat Accomplice severely. I signed irrelevant documents given by the police and left. Before going to find Accomplice, I expected that he wouldn't remove the post so easily. So I asked the counselor for his father's contact information and got in touch with him. Accomplice's father built his business from scratch to such a large scale, so his vision was naturally beyond that of ordinary people. But he didn't believe that his son would do such a thing. I went to find Accomplice in person and sent the recording of what he said to his father. Only then did the image of Accomplice as an obedient and excellent student collapse in his father's heart. Before coming to the police station, I thought that Accomplice's father must have learned more about Accomplice's glorious deeds. As for why I didn't hand it over to the police directly, after my father was framed in my previous life, I understood that money could sometimes do a lot of things. For a slander charge like this, which is not very serious, it can't punish a wealthy second generation like Accomplice. The next day, I heard the news that Accomplice had taken a leave of absence from school. Presumably, Accomplice's father had already received the materials I prepared. Those classmates who were bullied by accomplice and all his past evil deeds. Someone should teach him a good lesson. The day before the postgraduate entrance examination. I closed the book and exhaled a long breath. I had finished reading all the books I needed to read, memorized all the key knowledge points I needed to memorize, and completed all the exercises I needed to do. Having a second chance. I was more confident before this exam than I was last time. Yo. Our top student is finally not pretending anymore. Viper got up from the bed and started to put on makeup. You should have worked harder. After all, there are only 2 spots available. Since a week ago, Viper, who had always been studying secretly, had changed. She dragged our roommates out to have fun until late at night, as if she was enjoying the last carnival. All the books for the postgraduate entrance examination had also been put away by her under the bed. This was a good thing for me. It was much quieter in the dormitory without her. But it's useless. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to outperform me like last time. But even without me, there were still others. In my previous life, the written examination scores of the 3 of us were not far ahead. If she gave up at this time, she would be overtaken by those who came later. Unfortunately, heading full stealthily, I wouldn't remind her. I wish you a good time. Viper smiled strangely. I also wish you a good time. She left gracefully. But alarm bells rang loudly in my heart. There were too many butterfly effects after my rebirth. Would the incident of kidnapping happen earlier? Just in case. I called my father. Phoenix. Everything is fine here. Thanks to your reminder. After getting the stent implanted, I can breathe more smoothly. After being discharged from the hospital, I bought the house in that unfinished building in the west of the city as you said. Is it really okay? This was the money I saved for your marriage. Now our family has no money left. On the first day I was reborn, I called my father who had died for me. His health was the top priority. I urged him to have a checkup in the cardiology department. Sure enough, one of his blood vessels was already 80 blocked. After he was discharged from the hospital after the operation, he bought a house in an unfinished building with an extremely low price in the west of our hometown as I told him. After the postgraduate entrance examination in my previous life, that house was acquired by a well-known state-owned enterprise and its price increased several times. Although there was a certain chance that this matter might change. But I was willing to take the gamble. Dad, my postgraduate entrance examination is at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, the 23rd. I'll arrive at the school for the preliminary preparations at 8 o'clock and leave the dormitory at 7:30. I'll call you before I leave and before I enter the examination room. If you don't receive my call, please call the police for me immediately. My father's voice on the other end of the phone sounded a bit worried. Phoenix, has something happened to you at school? Don't bear it alone. Dad will be your backup. I knew that. But I didn't want my father to fall into a desperate situation again. I pretended to be relaxed and said, Dad, I'm just taking precautions. You know how important the postgraduate entrance examination is to me. Our Phoenix is a good girl and should fulfill your mother's unfulfilled wish. Don't worry about the exam. Dad will ensure that your rear is secure. With my father's promise, I felt at ease and prepared to face the postgraduate entrance examination tomorrow with all my might. But an accident still happened. The alarm clock didn't ring at 6:30 a.m. The next day, when I woke up, the back of my head hurt terribly. And the surrounding environment was very unfamiliar. You woke up quite early. Unfortunately, heading fulfilled way. It's useless no matter how early you wake up. Accomplice's sinister voice came from beside my ear. Did Viper knock me out and bring me to you guys? I couldn't understand what morality and public order and good customs meant to them. I, a living person, was actually taken out without my knowledge. You're so cheap that you came out to a hotel with someone. Who could stop you? Sure enough, they were using the same old trick again. In my previous life, Viper wore my clothes. Took a big express box out of the dormitory with a mask and a hat on. And even hugged Traitor for a long time when she saw him. All of this was clearly captured by the surveillance cameras. Except for my father. No one believed that I was knocked out and taken away. Do you know why I've been eating more than before recently? These extra 10 pounds of weight didn't come for nothing. I looked at the young man who had lost weight in just a few days and mocked his stupidity. Is it worth sacrificing yourself for a woman? You know, I will definitely call the police once I get out. And you'll have a criminal record for this. Let me go. And I promise I won't call the police. Accomplice spat on the ground, grinned, and said, "Do you think I'm stupid? I did all of this for Traitor. He will protect me." I didn't show it on my face, but my heart was beating very fast. I didn't know what time it was now. If my father didn't get any news from me, I didn't know if he would call the police. As for you, Phoenix, having so felt sigh. Do you know how hard it's been for me since my dad stopped my credit card after he went back? What on earth did you do to make this old man treat me so harshly? It doesn't matter. You have to be taught a lesson today. Accomplice had someone grab my right hand and looked at me viciously. What a pity. This hand could have carried me to victory in games before. But you didn't cherish it. All of this is your own doing. Phoenix. Sometimes a woman has to be submissive. He picked up a wooden stick and raised it high. I was really scared. Although I had made backup plans, I didn't expect Accomplice to be so ruthless. You're committing a crime. I shouted and tried to pull my hand back at the same time. But the person holding my hand was a man. And he was so strong that I could only move my hand a little bit even though I used all my strength. Bang! The wooden stick hit the table with a loud noise. And a piercing pain shot through my palm. It was over. Committing a crime? Don't I know that I'm committing a crime? My dad only has me. His precious son. No matter what mistake I make, he will get me out of trouble. As for you, Phoenix, didn't you want to take the postgraduate entrance examination? Weren't you trying to snatch Viper's spot? I want to see how you're going to take the exam now. After he finished speaking, he had the person release my hand. Just moving it a little bit caused excruciating pain. I knew that my hand must be broken. Accomplice was in a very good mood. He picked up my left hand and smiled. Do you know why I didn't break your left hand? I just want you to feel this despair. You know all the answers to the questions. But you don't have the ability to write them down. Just as he was feeling proud, the door was suddenly kicked open, and a group of police officers rushed in. My father was standing at the back. Accomplice and the others were subdued. My father rushed over and looked at me from head to toe. Phoenix, are you okay? When he saw my hand hanging limply by my side, his eyes filled with tears. Let's go. Hurry to the hospital. I looked at my father with stubble and dark circles under his eyes and felt a bit sorry for him. He must have stayed up all night worrying about me and rushed here overnight. Dad, what time is it now? But I still wanted to give it one last try. Don't worry. It's only 7:30. But your hand, Dad. I want to take the exam. I've worked so hard for the postgraduate entrance examination and reviewed for so long. I don't want to give up. Phoenix. Forget it. Maybe next year. Dad will work hard to earn money. It's still possible to support a college student. I tried to move my hand. Although it hurt, I could still move my fingers. Officer, I'm taking the postgraduate entrance examination today. But they broke my hand. Can I go to the hospital right away? I don't want to give up. After hearing this, the police officer opened a green channel for me and took me to the hospital specifically. The X-ray results showed that I had a conspire fracture in my wrist. However, getting a nerve block injection could temporarily restore its function. Are you really sure you want to get the injection? If it's not handled properly, the resulting disability will be permanent. The doctor looked at me with a face full of disapproval and then turned to my father. Compared to an exam, your hand is more important, right? Sir, please persuade your daughter. My father didn't say anything. He looked at me with a serious expression and finally said, Phoenix, I hope there are no regrets in your life. If you think this is the right thing to do, I respect your choice. The doctor was speechless. But I was grateful to my father for respecting my choice. After the injection, the pain indeed disappeared. At this moment, I only had one thought in my mind: take the exam well, get through these 2 days, and there will be a new tomorrow. At 8:30, I sat in the examination room on time. When Viper saw me, a flash of surprise crossed her face. And in an instant, it was replaced by a triumphant smile. But I ignored her. When the examination paper was distributed, I fully immersed myself in the questions. My hand was indeed injured, and its flexibility had decreased significantly. Whenever I exerted force or made large movements, a dull pain would shoot through it. What shocked me even more was that not a single question on the examination paper was the same as in my previous life. I was glad that I had never bet on the fact that, just because I was reborn and had taken the exam once before, I already knew the questions. The completely different examination questions showed that the butterfly effect had indeed affected this world, except that during the last exam, the effect of the invigilation strictness ended earlier than expected. I endured the pain and finished the paper. Although my handwriting was terrible, everything else about the exam went smoothly. After walking out of the examination room, I exhaled a long breath of turbid air. And finally, the burden in my heart was lifted. However, Viper walked up to me angrily and tried to grab my injured hand. I couldn't avoid her in time. And she pinched it hard. Are you satisfied now? Why are the questions different from before? What did you do? Phoenix. I just want to get a postgraduate degree. Why can't you give way to me? With your excellent grades, it will definitely be easy for you to find a job in the future. Why do you have to compete with me for a postgraduate spot? After the written examination results come out, can you give up the interview? I didn't review in the last week, and I didn't do as well in this exam as last time. Please let me go. I suddenly realized that Viper had also been reborn a week ago. No. I gritted my teeth and forcefully pulled my hand out of Viper's grasp. My deformed hand looked a bit eerie at this moment. But what was even eerier was Viper's expression. It was as if, after losing all hope, she had made a crazy and resolute decision. Something was wrong. I quickly turned around and fled towards the outside of the school. Viper, holding a fruit knife, ran towards me desperately. The pain in my hand, which she had pinched, became even more intense. Seeing that she was about to catch up with me, I stopped. Confronting her head-on was better than being attacked from both the front and the back. I was willing to sacrifice my hand to save my life. Viper's red eyes clearly showed that she was now so angry that she had lost most of her rationality. She rushed over and tried to stab my face with the knife. I raised my hand to block it and grabbed the knife tightly. Unexpectedly, she took out a second knife from her pocket and accurately stabbed it into my shoulder. I was in so much pain for a moment that Viper pulled out the knife. Then she desperately stabbed towards my eyes. At this moment, Traitor rushed over and blocked that knife. Viper was stunned and was caught by the surrounding teachers. Finally, having so felled my acing, she stopped her madness. But she still stared at me viciously. Viper, come to your senses. Traitor's voice was trembling. Even if you get the first place in the exam like this, can you still pursue a postgraduate degree? Do you really want to ruin yourself? The blood stained the white snow on the ground red. Viper, trembling all over and filled with hatred, looked at me and said, Traitor, are you going to speak for her now? She's not dead yet. She's not your beloved one yet. Weren't we supposed to go to graduate school together? Go abroad together? And be a model couple? When did you start having feelings for her in your heart? Didn't you always say that she wasn't good enough for you? Traitor, I did all of this for you. When the ambulance arrived, Viper was still saying some things that no one could understand. But from her words, I vaguely heard the story of what happened after my death in the previous life. Phoenix, Viper was possessed by some evil thoughts. But she's a good girl. For my sake, can you forgive her? Before being carried onto the ambulance, Traitor, with a pale face, pleaded with me. I gave him the same 2 words in reply, no. I will sue Viper. She intentionally injured someone and committed an assault with a knife. Why should I forgive her? Because I was wearing thick clothes. My injury wasn't serious. But with that last stab, she cut the tendons in Traitor's hand. Our major places great emphasis on fine operations of the hands. Viper directly ruined Traitor's future in the major. Traitor's family refused to reach an understanding and, together with me, firmly appealed. Viper was sentenced to 3 years in prison. This time, Traitor didn't plead for her. He was sent abroad by his family for treatment that lasted for 2 years. In the end, the expected effect still wasn't achieved. More than 10 years of hard study was ruined in an instant. After accomplice was caught by the police, he was punished for multiple crimes. This time, his father didn't bail him out. Presumably, hadn't fulfilled upset. His father knew that he couldn't be educated well at home, so he let society give him a good lesson. A month later, I removed the bandage on my shoulder and went back to my hometown with my father. While we were having hot pot, the good news came that the unfinished building had been acquired. Overnight, the housing price increased several times. I finally heaved a sigh of relief. 2 months later, the results of the postgraduate entrance examination were announced. My father and I nervously checked the scores in front of the computer. He, who usually remained calm, now had slightly sweaty palms. Phoenix, do you have confidence? To be honest, no. In the last half hour of the professional exam, my hand hurt a lot. Don't worry. Even if you don't pass the exam, your father can still support you. We'll try harder next year. My father said these discouraging words as I clicked on the query button. 448. It was a full 20 points higher than in my previous life. I let out a long sigh of relief. It was stable. For this interview, I will definitely prepare well and leave nothing to chance. When the counselor called to congratulate me, she felt sorry for Traitor and Viper. I didn't expect that the two of them didn't perform well and didn't even make it to the interview. Fortunately, you lived up to expectations and got the highest scores in both the written and interview parts of the exam this year. I smiled and replied to her. Everyone has to be responsible for their own actions. I once asked myself whether the punishments they received were severe enough compared to what happened in my previous life. No. I know the answer. I don't want to be like them. The end of the full text.